Discover the future of AI-powered digital experiences. Adobe Summit is live in Las Vegas March 17th to 20th. If you can't make it to the conference in person, join Summit online free from anywhere. Access inspirational talks from global brand leaders like Coca-Cola, Unilever, Marriott, and more in live-streamed insightful keynotes and Adobe Sneaks, co-hosted by comedian Ken Jeong, plus select from over 30 expert-led sessions. Register for free at adobe.com/go/marketersbrief.
Hi, I'm Brandon Dorr, brand marketing reporter at Ad Age. Welcome to this week's edition of the Marketer's Brief podcast, our weekly discussion of marketing news and trends that have the industry buzzing. Joining us today is Olga Suvorova, Chief Marketing Officer of Mobile Experiences here in the US at Samsung. Samsung released its latest flagship phone, the Galaxy S25, in February. Like most smartphone releases these days, the marketing strategy is largely focused on AI and software features. In this episode, Olga talks about finding use cases for AI that consumers will actually care about, Samsung's creator marketing strategy, and its tendency to antagonize certain competitors here in the US. Here's the conversation with Olga. Olga Suvorova, welcome to the Marketer's Brief podcast.
Great to be here. Super exciting.
Thank you so much for joining us. I thought it could be helpful for our listeners just up top to hear a little bit more about you and your role. Can you talk a little bit about what you do at Samsung?
Yeah, absolutely. I joined Samsung in January 2024, and I have the privilege to lead a very talented team of integrated marketers responsible for the mobile experience business in the US. And when we say mobile experience business, that's everything from incredible smartphones to smartwatches, smart rings, laptops, tablets, and many more exciting things to come. So in my role, I have the opportunity to lead the team from defining our strategy in the US to bringing it to life through product marketing, creative partnerships, influencers, media, and all the things that go into that.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the marketing strategy for this device, both in sort of the broad strokes of the creative messaging that you're leaning on as you promote this and some of the media channels and platforms you guys like to promote? I know you have a very active YouTube channel, but some of the other places you like to invest in too.
Well, first and foremost, I know that AI has become something of a catch-all for many brands. So I'm not going to be the first one who would mention this in this podcast. But our mobile AI experience is really a key differentiator. And for us, the strategy to bring it to consumers is really showing versus telling. When I think about our strategy, it's not about what technology does and all the features and tech specs, but what people can do with technology. And that's why through our core campaign, we have really focused on telling the human stories and the everyday relatable stories of how people are using these devices and what amazing things they're doing with them. Sometimes very ordinary to get through the day and sometimes pretty extraordinary. And speaking of extraordinary moments, the big part of our strategy is bring our devices and our experiences at the forefront of really big cultural moments and own those moments. From a different approach to Super Bowl when we've partnered with Condé Nast to be part of the GQ Bowl experience on the ground that would allow us to put the devices into the hands of many, many people, to the very recent one experience that we brought to life during the Oscars. So hope you tune in if you haven't. They're available, as you mentioned, in our YouTube channel. But we basically brought our technology at the forefront of this massive, probably Hollywood's biggest night event, but with a purpose in mind. We really are focusing on giving the voice and giving the spotlight to all communities, and especially those who are sometimes unsung heroes. And we know that the stunt performers have long been overshadowed sometimes during this biggest night. So we've joined forces with some of the other incredible brands to tell the stories of those incredible stunt performers with Galaxy S25, and some of those AI experiences, actually Audio Razor, one of them, being part of those amazing, I would say, stunts recreated with some of those amazing performers. And there is more to come during this quarter and going into the year for Galaxy S25 and how it's connected to the entire ecosystem. And the other thing that I would bring up, this is a big part of our strategy for S25 as well as for the brands throughout the year, is partnering with like-minded brands and people that share our values and together challenging the status quo and taking people on the journey less traveled and opening up their horizons to new and different. And that's why earlier this year, we've joined forces with Unrivaled, which is the first of its kind 3-on-3 basketball game that where players are actually equity owners. And it's social first, it's digital, it's redefining the rules on and off the court. And we're very, very proud to be an integral technology partner where we are in service of those incredible athletes, but we also create some pretty cool experiences with them and for the fans during the games and behind the scenes. So that's a little bit about our strategy. A lot of show versus tell, a lot of tapping into the incredible community and bringing S25 and our products in the spotlight of the most exciting cultural moments in the US.
Let's talk a little bit actually more about Galaxy AI and AI within this phone. I know it's a challenge for really every smartphone developer and really any company leaning on AI these days, right? To find practical use cases for their AI and display that prominently in the marketing. Tell me a little bit about how Samsung approaches that challenge, finding helpful use cases that a lot of consumers care about and yeah, your approach to finding and displaying those use cases in your
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's very interesting for every technology brand, but what has been always at the core of who we are and how we approach both building products, but also bringing those products and technologies to market and to consumers is listening. We spend a lot of time throughout our research and development process when we're building the product with consumers and customers in the US, in all the regions across the globe, from all walks of life, regardless of socioeconomic backgrounds, regardless of the state of where consumers are, and really understanding what they're doing with their devices, what they're missing, what their hopes and dreams are, and what are some of the fun, aspirational things that they would love to do. So, for example, a lot of our health and well-being focused technology is stemming from that deep research and understanding of consumers, and that's at the heart of both wearables. So Samsung Galaxy Watch Ring that we actually launched last summer. So it's been very, very short period of time, but very rewarding to see how people are using it to take control over their health and also see how they can monitor that performance in Samsung Health app, which is on their phones, which I personally start my every day with, and sometimes I look at my sleep score and I was like, why is it like that? So listening is a big part of that. And that helps us really build technology that is truly useful and truly, truly exciting. And then spending a lot of time with consumers as they start using their technology and focusing on some of the things that are resonating, like Audio Eraser, for example, or Now Brief, which is pretty much the summary that you can tap on the moment you grab your phone into your own hands, and it tells you, I have a meeting with Brendan at 9 a.m. this morning, and then a bunch of other stuff, and then I go into my day. So those things help us also fine tune what we bring more to the forefront to consumers when they experience our products, as well as what stories we want to tell in our marketing. And those are the stories that we're currently seeing in market and the ones that we're bringing to consumers in some of those exciting partnerships and moments.
What are some of the AI features, or even if there's a singular one you could isolate that your consumers seem to be like clamoring the most for?
That is really, really fun. So the very fascinating thing is that there are currently over 80 million people globally that are using Galaxy AI. That's pretty fascinating. And a big chunk of that is in the US. We actually not new to AI. We were probably the first brand who pioneered the scale and the breadth of the AI technology across all the devices, not only smartphones. It runs across our wearables, across our laptops and tabs. So starting last year, what was very interesting, we launched in partnership with Google the experience that we call circle to search, when you pretty much can circle anything on your screen and get a lot of information straight in your phone. And that has been very popular. The other two are incredible. Live Translate, which is the ability to both translate pretty much any conversation. If we were speaking a different language, I could pull up my phone and I would be able to get the translation. It's available in over 20 languages. It also works when we translate calls. So you can probably call to a different country or a number. And that's been pretty amazing, especially when we think about bilingual families, when we think about friends and distant communities. The third one is what we call Photo Assist. And that's an amazing opportunity to pretty much turn any photo into a work of art or erase any unnecessary parts of the photo, turn it into sketch on it, and then it turns it into a ready-made photo. That is very, very popular. And from the recent one that we've expanded with the launch of S25, I was mentioning to you, Audio Razor, which is part of the AI incorporated into our camera, is really blowing people's minds because it's such a cool one, because you can pretty much record any video. And if there is background noise or unnecessary noise, or you want to dial up one part of the sound and dial down another one, it basically allows you to do that. So those are some of the things that are bubbling up to the top. And of course, the things that we have partnered, continue to partner with Google on bringing Gemini technology to Samsung Galaxy devices that you can use pretty much with the tap of a button, and that's it. And you can ask it anything you want and it will do incredible things and will take a lot of burden off your shoulders.
We're going to take a quick break to hear this message from our sponsor.
If you can't make it to Las Vegas for Adobe Summit March 17th through 20th, join Summit Online to access free live-streamed events and select sessions from anywhere. Explore how leveraging AI can help you deliver exceptional customer experiences, drive efficiency, and prove measurable impact. Get an exclusive first look at never-before-seen technology during the popular Adobe Sneaks showcase, co-hosted by actor and comedian Ken Jeong. Visit adobe.com/go/marketersbrief to register for free.
Welcome back to the Marketer's Brief podcast and our conversation with Olga Suvorova, Chief Marketing Officer of Mobile Experiences here in the US at Samsung. Can you talk a little bit about some of the channels that Samsung relies on to get this feedback from its consumers, not just about the products that they want to see in the phones, but how you guys talk about those products within the ads?
The channels that we use to get feedback from consumers, it's a combination of things. Obviously, as you mentioned, we are a full funnel marketer and advertiser, and we approach every launch and every campaign throughout the year from the full funnel perspective, from generating excitement and awareness through more traditional linear and connected TV, pulling it through incredible capabilities of digital, video, social, and all the way through conversion, because that's the only way we can be really successful in lending those incredible benefits. So we got a lot of, in addition to the research and insights that we do through more sort of like traditional marketing channels before the launch, during the launch, shop along studies, consumer surveys are really critical to us. But we also tap into the media channels and tactics that we're using to get very timely, I would say almost immediate feedback from how our messages and creative are resonated with consumers. For all the digital work, we get back an understanding of, are people remembering our brand? Are they engaging through the end of the spot? So things like view-through rates and click-through rates. And that's why looking at those numbers, we also get a lot of reassurance around the messages that are resonating and bubbling up to the top. The third big component of our understanding of different stories that we're telling and how effective they are is our incredible community of creators and influencers that we call Team Galaxy, so Samsung Team Galaxy. We have an incredible roster, and it's been all for us over the years, empowering people, enabling them to do incredible creative things, productive things. We have musicians and athletes and photographers and artists. So we spend a lot of time with them. We pretty much co-create a lot of our go-to-market with them, which has been an incredible journey because, again, we see ourselves as the brand for very rich and diverse communities. So we build our marketing based on the feedback from those communities.
Do you have a recent example in mind of an insight that you pulled from a creator or a series of creators that you then put into market?
Well, since we're talking about AI and camera, a very good example, and it's pretty scalable, is what I was mentioning to you. We spend a lot of time with our creators community, especially the ones who are focused on photography and videography and artists, and really started unpacking what AI camera means and what it does. So a lot of incredible night photography came up, the audio razor that keeps coming up as this magical wow experience. And we actually pulled it through. That's why we've pulled it through with our work for the Oscars and the stunts, because we actually worked with those directors and videographers to capture the entire experience on Samsung Galaxy S25. So what you see is pretty much captured with this device. So that was a very big inspiration for us to start bringing to market this AI camera. Is pretty much the official camera and the official capture device of many, many, many professionals, not only regular consumers, I would say, who take a lot of home and kids videos in their daily lives. And that was at the core of also our partnerships with Unrivaled, for example, because we are their official capture device because they're social and digital first. They need to capture hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. And there is no better way to do that than this technology. So that is probably one of the amazing examples that also helped us unpack what AI camera could mean. It's a combination of how we're capturing with, let's say, turning any low light environments into stunning nightography shots, to how we're editing those photos, whether it's with Photo Assist, Audio Razor, we have features sketch to image where you can pretty much add anything you want. And I would say the third one is how do we share that? And that's where a lot of Galaxy Eye and Gemini powered technology helps us just send it to Brendan in a matter of just me asking it to do that.
One more creator question, and then I have a few other topics I wanted to ask about. Are these insights you are generally pulling like as you strike paid deals with them? Do you have less formal like meetings where you just talk shop with them? What's the process, I guess, for interacting with creators to get some of these insights?
We love and we believe in more of the workshop environments. We come to the table with certain set of hypotheses. We obviously have products in the making because those take longer and longer to build, but we start with an open conversation. And we try to understand from our creators, from our community, what's top of mind for them, what they're seeing, what they're doing, what they're missing, what kind of ideas they have. So we've had some of those workshops and I would say brainstorming sessions, both around the products as well as some of the exciting creative ideas. And we actually take the same approach with every partner that we work. We have the privilege of working with really incredible media platforms because they help us innovate, whether it is YouTube or Matter or Reddit. It's been a pretty amazing journey. And we take a similar approach. I truly believe that the best work comes from that open discussion and collaboration and bringing the expertise from different areas to the table to come up with something of 1 + 1 = 3.
I want to ask a little bit more just about broad marketing strategy. I've seen in some recent ads you guys have done last year, there's a tendency to maybe poke at competitors and their ability to innovate compared to your ability to innovate. Is that something that Samsung is interested in continuing to lean on, or are you thinking about maybe moving away from that strategy? Talk a little bit about, I guess, just the strategy of comparing yourself to competitors directly in your ads, and if that's something you're still interested in doing more of.
Well, last year, as you mentioned, we've launched a couple of campaigns, but with one core message at the heart of it. And that core message goes back to who we are and what we believe in, because our marketing strategy is all about being very crystal clear of what we stand for and what we believe in and championing it in a bold way with our consumers. And sometimes that might take a slightly different tonality and expression, but at the core of it is our ethos of being an open brand and really striving to break the boundaries and push for what might not have been imaginable before. And it's not just in technology, because at the core of everything we do is our product innovation. And I would think about Samsung and Samsung Galaxy as being an unconformist innovator, because we continue to invent and reinvent what technology can do for people and what people can do with technology. But what it means for us as a brand is being the brand that is challenging conventions, that is opening people up to new and different that they might not have considered before, including incredible innovation, including pursuing different paths, especially in the market where there is a lot of comfort and familiarity with doing things the way we have always done them and making technology choices we have been making for years. So that is at the core of our marketing strategy. It's really championing our true North Star, but then finding ways to do it in a witty way, in a clever way, in a way that has some levity and humor, and that spans across the different campaigns that we launched last year and that we're working on for this year as well.
I have one last question in mind I wanted to ask you. I think, especially here in the US, there is a cultural component to owning a certain type of phone that almost informs your decision to purchase a phone more than what you guys are actually putting inside of these phones. I know as an Android user personally, I always get loads of heat about texting anyone who does not have an Android phone. As a marketer, how do you think about approaching that challenge when you're trying to promote all of the upgrades and how good your phone actually is? How do you think about the consumer that doesn't think about any of that and is maybe really stuck in the ecosystem they have with whatever company that they're involved in? How do you approach that challenge?
That's a great question, and it's such an important question, especially in the market where we have a lot of exciting competition. And you said it yourself. For us, it's a combination of finding an interesting and clever way to reinforce the technology and experiences on the product side that are really fun and that are really differentiated and that only Samsung has. For example, our incredible AI camera innovation, our Galaxy Eye innovation is truly unparalleled because it has the scale across the ecosystem that nobody else has. But the other big component to that is really celebrating the spirit of that technology, that brands, and the community that we serve. And for us, it is the spirit of game changers. It is the spirit of people who are not afraid to be different, people who are not afraid to try something new and exciting, even though it is not very familiar. And even though it's not what everyone else around you is doing. So celebrating that spirit of the communities who already choose us, as well as people who we want to bring into our universe, and breaking those conventions and inspiring and enabling people to do that is really, really key. And I think that helps enrich and elevate the message that is only about the product, because we don't see the role of marketing as only talking about our product experiences. It's really about making it relevant for consumers, but also telling the story of the ethos of our brands and championing for broader cultural and social diversity in the world. Our enemy is truly not like a certain competitor. Our enemy is broader cultural conformity and monotony. And how do we, as an incredible global brand, champion and drive the way forward on challenging some incredible things, whether it's stunt performers or incredible, unrivaled athletes like Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart? That's really at the heart of what we do. And that helps us tap into the emotional component of choosing the technology and choosing a device, especially in a market like the US.
Olga, I think we could probably chat about this for another hour
Forever.
if we had the time to, but sadly, I do think that is all the time we have for this episode. I just want to say thanks again for joining us here on the Marketer's Brief.
This was super fun. Thank you, Brendan.
That was Olga Suvorova, Chief Marketing Officer of Mobile Experiences here in the US at Samsung. I'm Brandon Dorr, Brand Marketing Reporter at Ad Age. I'd like to thank our producer, Lauren Chiardio, and invite you to subscribe to the Marketer's Brief podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We promise to keep it brief.
Marketers Brief listeners get $40 off an adage.com subscription. Sharpen your marketing edge and visit adage.com/brief for your discount.